you could, just for our last question, could you please explain one more time the difference between the directives and the goal and the heart of critical theory and the gospel of Jesus Christ?
Well, I would say that the definition or the directive of critical theory would be to look at who are the oppressed and who are the oppressors within a society, and how do we redistribute wealth? How do we overturn those who have the power, those who sit in a place of power, so that those who are oppressed also have power? Or overturn those who have power and actually the oppressed would have more power. Now, within Christianity, what we see is that the rich and the poor, we have versions of righteous rich and versions of righteous poor. We see a heart attitude. We see something that is based on our own personal responsibility, our own free will. There isn't a theft mentality in the gospel. I don't have to have someone take my money and redistribute it in order for there to be equality, in order for me to be seen as an equal with you before the Father. This is where critical race theory or critical theory really gets off and goes off on its own silent, is how it's saying we achieve equality. There is no foundational equality between us, which again is something completely different than what's in Christianity. We see a complete redefinition of history and what history means in critical race theory. So critical race theory, again, is always looking back to oppressed and oppressor. In Christianity, we are looking at Jesus. All of history points us to Jesus. Mm-hmm. And everything from now until the Lord returns is pointing to Jesus. Mm-hmm. There are some, again, I spoke about identity. There's some foundational issues with who we are intrinsically. So I'm not sure if I'm answering all of your question, or if there are some definite contradictions, I call them, between critical race theory and critical theory, and critical race theory and Christianity. And we have to understand, what are the terms? How are we defining things like racism? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because if we aren't clear on that, we'll join in with the culture's rhetoric, not understanding that anyone can participate in racism. It's an issue of the heart. It's an issue of partiality. How do we define justice? How are we defining oppressed and oppressor, as you mentioned?
Yes.